Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Megan. I am a twin flame healer and coach and reader, and this channel is going to be tarot readings, going to be downloads, messages from my guides. It's going to be initiations, just all kinds of things. And today is actually going to be the part 2 to the Divine Feminine initiation that I was speaking about a couple videos back. So today is going to be about the Divine Masculine initiation. I just want to say hello to new followers. Thank you so much for joining us here. If you have any questions about my services or what I do, all that information is going to be in the description box below. And welcome to this beautiful soul family that we have going here. I want to make it really clear, because I don't know if I did in the last video, and I think I even called that out in the last video. There's some things I may have said wrong, and I just kind of let it flow, because I was speaking about the Divine Feminine initiation, which is so about being in the flow and a little bit less structured. Whereas today I am talking about the masculine initiation, so I have notes and I'm going to be a little bit more structured, which is perfect and divine in how they're guiding me to do it. But that being said, I want to make it really clear that no matter your gender, no matter if you are a divine feminine or a divine masculine, we both go through this ascension journey. Also, if you aren't a twin flame, you can go through this ascension journey. This is something that occurred for me prior to meeting my twin flame. I had my divine feminine initiation prior to meeting him. Then I met him, and that's what started me on my divine masculine initiation. So I just want that to be said, that spiritual seekers, light workers, people on a spiritual path are going to naturally go through this process. And a lot of us go through it without really knowing what's happening, without giving it name, without giving it structure. But I just felt it was important to kind of share this so that you could make sense of your journey and understand the context of it, and hopefully help other people and help yourself feel less alone. So that's kind of the purpose. But we each go through this journey. And Divine Feminine leads. I'm sure you've heard that before. The Divine Feminine is the energetic leader. So the Divine Feminine initiation must occur first. Many of us out in the world, as I said in the last video, skip that initiation. We don't tune into spirit. We don't tune into our intuition. We don't have a importance placed on rest, on surrender, on enjoyment, on play. We think, I will rest when the work is done, which is very distorted masculine. It's very distorted masculine to be like, I don't need any of that. I don't need help from anybody. I got this on my own. I don't need to listen to my intuition. I'm going to use my logic only and go out into the world and make shit happen, right? That is very distorted masculine. So when we awaken, when we have that kind of experience that can be very, very painful, we have this feminine initiation where many of us are actually forced to surrender, where we don't really, spirit gives us no other choices. We lose our job, we have nothing, everything dries up. And that's that void space. That's that deep feminine kind of purging and place that we're asked to sit in and to learn from. Now, once we've experienced that feminine initiation, there is an integration period. I wouldn't say that the feminine initiation happens and then you're like, whoa, let me go get going on the masculine. For me personally, it took a while. I was wondering why, after I knew I had been through this process, I knew I was really clear on my intuition and it was really strong, but I still wasn't seeing the 3D things manifest. I wasn't seeing the money roll in like I wanted it to. I wasn't seeing all the opportunities come in like I wanted it to. I just wasn't seeing things in this, like night and day, snap my fingers and everything's there. Because I was in some distorted masculine. But it slowly eventually started to take place. So what can happen when we're in distorted masculine is we have ideas. We start to have, as we're healing, let's say, as we begin this masculine initiation from the distorted into the divine. So we have ideas, we have things that we want to do in the world. This could be anything. This is anything that requires your action, that's creation, that's that divine inspiration. So anything, and it could be simply having more health when it comes to your overall life, holistic health. So making sure that all aspects of your life are really healthy and flowing, your relationships, okay, your career, your business, your money, your income, your money, wealth, and health. Family, creativity, your play, your rest, just making sure all of these are very healthy and in balance. A really good way to think of it is the masculine is the container. The masculine is the structure. They're the walls of the house. That's why I have my notes today, because the notes are going to keep me structured so that my feminine can free flow and channel. My feminine energy is what is channeling from the divine right now as I'm speaking this to you. But if my feminine gets a little bit lost in the ethers, I can come down to my notes. So it's a really good visual just to give you. So you can imagine if the walls of your house are rotting and molding and there's termites, you're in trouble. It doesn't matter how healthy your feminine is. She's exposed to the elements. She's out in the cold, in the snow, in the rain, and she doesn't know what to do. The beautiful thing is once you have come through both of these initiations, they work so beautifully in partnership with one another. Sometimes I like to think of them as my inner mother and my inner father. My inner masculine will take care of me, will provide for me, will notice, we have something going on here that's not really good. We're going to cut this person out. My inner feminine will be the one to be like, you know what? I think you need to rest. I think you need to go take that nap. And they kind of work in this beautiful harmony together. So back to the masculine initiation. In the beginning, you may have a lot of ideas, but you don't have the confidence to take action on them. You don't feel like you can just act on them. There's this feeling of unworthiness that has to be healed in the masculine. And it's also in tandem with this ability to not give a fuck. And I hope no one's offended by language, but you just cannot care what other people think of you. Otherwise, that's going to hold you back. And that's a very confident masculine energy that we all have within us, right? To be able to say, heal codependency. That's a big masculine initiation, to heal all codependency. If you're serving me and you are bringing a positive thing into my life, whatever that is, whether it's your energy, whether it's your love, whether it's your wisdom, whether we're in some form of an energetic exchange that feels fulfilling to me, fantastic. But if you're someone that's draining me and taking from me, in my masculine energy, I need to be able to say goodbye and not feel bad. It's not to say it won't be hard to let people go, but to not take on that pain. So if this other person starts projecting their pain onto me, I'm an asshole, making it my fault, I need to be strong and confident enough in my self-worth and in my knowing of who I am and where my intentions are that I don't allow any of that energy. It's a sturdy house, right? The walls of that house are sturdy. Nothing's getting past it. And this can be this can really start to take place, I want to say, in the feminine initiation. And then once you're in the masculine, it's action time. It's all about taking action. So it's almost like all of those months spent where you couldn't do anything, you were in meditation, you were downloading, you were integrating, you were learning. Then you get to this place when this masculine energy starts pumping through you, where you get the download from spirit. It's that intuition, it's that feminine channel, and you act on it. You trust it. You're like, I trust myself. I'm going to take that action. And it could be super simple. It could be, I normally shop at this grocery store, but for some reason, I'm getting this inspired creative action to go to this grocery store today. And you follow it, even though maybe it's out of your way. Okay? So you follow it. You take that action, that inspired action. You get to that grocery store, and look who you run into. You run into somebody from your past that is, super excited to see you. They're working on something similar that you're working on. You had these ideas, you had these creative, inspired ideas that you wanted to act on, but you hadn't had that go ahead from spirit yet. You hadn't had that green light. So they were just kind of sitting in there, and your feminine was allowing you to trust they're sitting, but I haven't been given the green light yet, so it's not time to take action. So you've held your masculine back, and your masculine has trusted your feminine enough to say, okay, I know I have these ideas, but it's not time yet. But then your masculine took that action about this grocery store, showed up at this grocery store, met this person from your past that is working on the exact same thing you're working on and has an opportunity for you that is in tandem with all of those ideas. And then you're able to see, wow, imagine if I had tried to act on that earlier out of alignment from a place of distorted masculine, and it wouldn't have worked. Whatever I was going to do would have failed. I wouldn't have had the resources, the support, and I would have missed this opportunity that's so much better because I listened to my feminine. So the masculine initiation is really a process of, it's still a process of trust. It's still a process of surrender because your feminine is online now. Your feminine is working with you. But a big piece I've personally noticed in my own masculine initiation is it's all about taking responsibility. It's taking responsibility for every single thing in my life, releasing all victim templates, which is not easy to do. So releasing all, I need someone else to do this for me. I need to do this with somebody else. I need to pass this off to someone else. There's a period in masculine initiation where you are your only confidant. You are your own best friend. And I feel that you must learn that before spirit can bring you those connections, those people that are going to support you and help you, because you need to learn how strong you are. So for me in my initiation, I had a lot of karmic things happen. The divine masculine energy deals with the karma, right? They're the transmuting twin. They deal with a lot of that pain of the 3D world. So this could be health issues. This could be physical body stuff. This could be karma. This could be bureaucratic things. I had really weird things, and I'll just share personally, where all of a sudden I was having all of these issues with things like my car insurance, or things with the DMV, or things with government stuff, like tax issues. And what was really interesting about them is not one of them were true. They were all illusions, meaning they came to me and I was like, that's not right. The DMV was saying they don't have any proof of insurance. And I was like, I have insurance. It's so weird. And so at first, not a big deal, right? I'm like, okay, well, we'll figure this out. But it wouldn't get figured out. It was like this, I know I have insurance, trusting the divine, trusting spirit, trusting the truth. And then this government agency saying, no, you don't. We need proof. We don't see it. And it was like an extended period of time of this going back and forth. And I was continuing to have to trust myself and not get gaslit and not feel like I'm going crazy and do I not even have insurance? Maybe I don't. And it was all clerical error. It was from the divine, right? Which let me know, because it was such a mistake that at the end, the way it was resolved is they were like, oops, sorry. I mean, they didn't say sorry, but they were like, oh, okay, we see it now. Thanks. After a month of me in deep, deep stress. And what it was teaching me was A, resolve, B, trust and faith in myself, and also taking responsibility, taking initiative. These weren't things I wanted to be spending my energy or time on or handling. I didn't want to deal with this. I was like, I have work to do. I got my spirit business to run. I got shit to do, right? But spirit was like, you need to learn how to notice an issue in your foundation, in your house, and handle it and take care of it on your own before we can bring you any other support of teamwork to do this together. Because a distorted masculine often hides their own power. They don't feel as worthy or powerful as they think they are. It's a front, it's a facade. It's why we have this, I don't know, I guess the whole idea of a patriarchy and this whole idea of men out in the world taking advantage of their power, being assholes, that whole energy out in the world. That all comes from a masculine who feels really insecure deep down inside. They don't know who they are. They don't have self-worth. They haven't gone through their feminine initiation. They don't feel capable. So if you don't feel capable, you have to put on a facade that you're capable. And that facade actually ends up looking cocky. It actually ends up being an over-exaggeration of true worth. True worth can just sit back and let things happen. I don't need to tell you how great I am. I'll show you. I know how great I am. I don't need you to tell me how great I am. I fucking know it. And so this distorted masculine energy thinks that they need other people to work with in their life, thinks that if they have an idea and, you know, they need to act on it, that, well, I better bring this person in, they're going to help me. It's like a crutch, you know what I mean? And so usually during this masculine initiation, in whatever way spirit works this out for you, because it's going to be specific to you and the things that are really challenging for you, Spirit's going to work out a way where you got to do it all on your own for a time to figure it out. So for me, a very stressful thing was all of this bureaucratic like bullshit. Like I just did not like handling any of that stuff. My feminine was like, I don't want to deal with my taxes. I want someone else to do it for me. I don't want to worry about all of the kind of like masculine things within my business. I don't want to do like invoicing. Like I just don't want to do any of it. I just want to like, you know, channel all day, be in coaching sessions all day. That's all I want to do. And Spirit was like, no, before you can hire somebody, before you can get the go ahead to hire out and have somebody do this for you, we want you to learn how to do it yourself. So that's kind of the principle here. And it goes as quickly as you let it go. So, going to my notes. It goes as quickly as you will allow it to go. So for some people, this masculine initiation can be pretty quick. For some, it can be, you know, a little bit longer. It really depends on the karma and the things that are coming up for you, because a lot of it is purging and releasing and transmuting karma. Most of us don't really have a strong idea of what some of our past life karma. Some of us do, but a lot of us don't. And so that's really out of our control. So again, surrender is a huge theme of the masculine initiation. So we have to face our fears during this. We're facing our 3D fears. We're taking ownership and responsibility for our lives. We are trusting that we are safe and protected from spirit always. We don't have to go into hamster on a wheel overdrive to try and save ourselves, because there is a divine, that's that feminine connection. The divine is always with us. No matter if we're having to do all this stuff alone in the 3D, we always have the best teammate in the world, in the cosmos, in the infinity. So we're never, ever alone. And that's also, I think, part of why you are meant to do these things alone in the 3D, so that you can learn you're never alone. Because if you got all this noise and these people around you, you don't really notice that connection. You don't really feel it. It's not present. It's, you know, you can go to the bathroom and try and connect, right? But if there's a lot of busyness and noise around you, it's harder to connect to that and feel that. Also in the masculine initiation, there's a lot of healing around money. A lot of healing around money. And we have, most of us, I have met plenty of people that have a healthy sort of money blueprint, that their childhood, their imprinting, you know, their parents, their family situation actually gave them or taught them and modeled a very healthy money blueprint. So making money is pretty easy for them and they feel worthy of it. And these people know that, you know, the more you give, the more you receive. They just know that intuitively. And so they don't have this fear of like hoarding money. They don't have this scarcity with hoarding. And they don't have this fear of, well, I'm not worthy of it, so I better spend it all really quickly and just, like hot potato, can't hold it, get rid of it, right? Because people kind of fall into one of those two extremes. And of course, there's a million gray area middle as well. But it's either our money issues are either stemming from feeling like when we have it, we can't ever hold it. We can't receive it. We can't hold the energy of money for very long. So as soon as we get money, we find a way to spend it and we're like, where the hell did my paycheck go? Or we hoard it and tell ourselves we have no money and we're just constantly in a state of broke, scarcity, fear. But if somebody were to look at our bank account, they would be like, you are not broke. You know, where is that coming from? It's like delusional. So I come from that camp. I am Jewish in heritage, and I have seen this in all of my ancestors coming from, you know, these blueprints. And some of this can be ancestral. Some of this can be passed down. And it is something that really rears its ugly head, so to speak, during this masculine initiation. And to be honest, this whole money conversation is its own other, like I could do a series. I could do a whole coaching container, like a 12-month long thing about money. Okay. So I'm not going to spend much time on it here, but just know that that is something that comes up to be healed. And that, I would probably say, is what can take the longest. A lot of people say money is connected to self-worth. And obviously I'm talking about how in the masculine initiation, we have to get so worthy and we just don't give a fuck anymore what people think about us. That's a huge key aspect of this masculine initiation. But I wouldn't 100% agree that money is correlated to worth. There's a connection, but it's much more nuanced, I think, than just saying, oh, if you have high self-worth, you'll have money. If you have low self-worth, you won't. Not really true. There's a lot of spiritual people in the world that have ideas and blueprints imprinted in them where they feel like money is bad, money is evil. Therefore, they could have very high self-worth as far as who they are. They could know themselves. They could be very ascended, but they could have this subconscious belief that money is bad and money is evil. Therefore, they could be pushing it away from them and rejecting it. A beautiful way to work with money, which I've done with a lot of my clients, it's come up in our sessions, is to work with money as a spirit. Money as spirit's the best way to put it, as an entity, but not, I know entity gets, scary entity, but just the money is an energy, right? The universe, she is alive. Gaia, the planet, she is alive. She has her own energy. She has her own intelligence. So does money. So if you start to work with money in that way and you form a relationship with money, there's a lot that money will want to teach you. And most of us have to heal our relationship. Most of us have a really abusive, unhealthy relationship with money. So when you start to kind of personify money, a lot can shift. That's the biggest sort of tidbit tool that I will leave you here with about money before going super into it. So it's kind of connected to worth. It's not fully connected to worth, because I just think that's an important differentiation. Oh my God, I think in the other video I struggled with that word too. Differentiation. I'm going to have to go do like a little like pronunciation class on that. Before the next video, I promise I will improve my pronunciation of that word. Oh, I got so sidetracked there. So yeah, it's not 100% about worth, because I think I explained that. And I think that's important, because I do think a lot of people, by a lot of the coaches, the money coaches, the business coaches out there that teach this money is connected to worth, it can really confuse people and make people get into this spiral of, well, I must not have self-worth then if I don't have money. And that is not true. I really just got to say that. There's a divine plan. There's a higher plan and spiritual perspective with money. One thing I've learned for me with money is Spirit was really clear with me, where Spirit was like, you need to learn to be a custodian of this wealth. And that's kind of the masculine initiation, where Spirit was like, we need you to be so in love with money and so kind to money, and to be able to hold it, to be responsible, all this masculine initiation we're talking about, to really know the value of it by working with it, so that you can be kind of a leader for others. And if we were to have given it to you just easily in a situation, however, whatever, you wouldn't have been as wise as we need you to be with it. You would have maybe not taken it for granted, and you would have given it away. A lot of spiritual people, I really think that's a big piece, is like, we're so giving and we're so loving that we're just like, oh, money is not even a thing. It's fine. Like, oh, do you want $10,000? Sure. Do you want $10,000? Like, so that was kind of like a funny conversation that I had with Spirit, where they were like, we need you to understand, like, if you just had an endless amount of this and you had all that you've been manifesting and wanting, you would have not treated it in the way that we need you to become wise to treat it, because I hadn't been initiated into my masculine. I was only in the feminine at that point. And so this masculine initiation has got me to be really, the best way I could describe it, if you want to associate it to tarot, is like the King and Queen of Swords, where they're very emotionally detached. They're very wise. They have learned through hard, challenging things in their life. They take no bullshit. They see through the truth of a human in 1 minute. So they're connected to their feminine. They're connected to the divine in that way. And they just are able to say, nope, I don't have time for this. sending you love, not personal, but no, I'm cutting you out of my life. You don't serve me. And I hope you find someone that serves you and that you can serve equally, but you're not at my level. And doing that without drama, right? Doing that without taking on their emotions, and because that's the distorted feminine. The distorted feminine is constantly trying to save everybody and constantly taking on other people's emotions and in all this codependency. A lot of men have the distorted feminine. In fact, I would argue that all divine masculines at the beginning of this journey are hella distorted feminine. Like, so distorted in their feminine. Their feminine is so fucked up. Love you if you're watching, but it is. And so was the divine feminine. She had to learn that as well. And let's not even talk about the divine feminine's distorted masculine. Super, super fucked up. It's what I'm saying. Just giving money away, just being like, oh yeah, it's fine. Take advantage of me. No problem. So these are things that we really, really have to learn. But King and Queen of Swords is not going to suffer fools, is not going to just, give their money away to a sob story who is trying to manipulate them. They're the King and Queen of Fools. People are not going to be stealing from them. They're going to be watching. They're going to see. They're going to notice in their foundation of their house, is there a leak? Even if it's this small, they're going to see it. They're going to see the truth of a person. They're not going to partner with a person that is fucked up, for lack of a better description. They're not going to partner with a person that has bad intentions, because they're going to see through the bullshit. They're going to see through narcissism. They're going to see through all sociopathic sort of tendencies. They're going to see through a person's intentions. It's only out of lack and fear and self-worth issues that we would even entertain for a moment somebody that falls into those categories. And I have fallen into that. I've entertained so many sociopaths, narcissists, manipulators, people that had horrible intentions, people that were possessed, people that quite literally had like demonic possession. They didn't know they had it. That's a whole thing. There's a whole tangent. But there's a lot of people out in the world who have an entity attached to them, but they don't even know it. And that's 9 times out of 10, I think, the experience with this, with all the things that we see in the world in that sense. But that's a video for another day. But, I wasn't in that King and Queen of Swords energy. I didn't have my masculine online to be able to see that and to be able to say, I don't have time for this. I am not going to fall prey or victim to this sob story. Because these people that I've mentioned are highly skilled at what they do. They are so manipulative. They are so charming. They are so cunning. They are advanced actors. They are brilliant actors. Brilliant. Like, okay? And they usually find it very easy to manipulate people and to wrap them around their fingers. But when you get through this masculine initiation, it's not possible anymore. It's just not. You can't be fucked with. That's why I feel like the masculine initiation, like the mantra of the masculine initiation, the theme is you are unfuckwittable, okay? Nothing scares you. I had a moment, and you also don't care if you're not liked. You're just like, then you're not for me. Blessings. Blessings. Go in peace. Your intention, as long as you know your heart is always connected to the divine, to that unconditional 5D love energy with spirit because of your feminine initiation, then you don't have to worry. You don't have to be in any sort of fear, am I being an asshole? It doesn't matter. Not that you're actually going to be an asshole, because guess what? When you're connected to that higher purpose, it's impossible for you to be an asshole. You're not going to be an asshole. You are just acting with your truth. You're going to look crazy to a lot of people out in the world, and a lot of people are going to reject you. Divine masculine initiation, you have to let go of a lot of people. You have to walk away because you are not on the same level anymore. Because you're going to look crazy, because no one lives that way. Everyone is codependent. Everyone is codependent, is stroking each other's egos out in the world. Nobody's really telling the truth. But that's a really important sort of initiation on this journey, is to be able to walk away with that and not care if someone doesn't like you. Okay, I'm back. I am a dog mama, and I had to go take care of a little one. So, I was gonna share a story with you, and then I think I'm pretty wrapped up. Then I think we got what we needed, which I love, because this actually felt so much more efficient than when I was channeling the Divine Feminine initiation, which is hilarious how that worked out. But I was just gonna share a little story from my Divine Masculine initiation, where I had a moment where I looked out. I was out in nature, in wilderness. Like, it was pretty remote. And it was at night, and I was in a house, and I was just looking out through the window into darkness, like into absolute kind of like pitch black darkness. And I would say in the past, I had a fear. I've always been very connected to the 4D. So the 4D is kind of where there is darkness, where there is negative entities and energy, and there's, beings with really malicious intentions. I've always had a connection to that. I've always seen it. I've always known it's real. I have a lot of Scorpio energy in my chart. Maybe that's why. But so I've always really seen it. And I don't want to say that I've been like terrified or afraid, but I've always had this like, ooh, okay, I don't want to do that. I need to protect myself. I need to avoid. I need to like just be really. And so that being said, being out in places like that where you are out of the city, you are out of civilization, that tends to be where you can have these experiences where these beings can show themselves. At least this was what the story I had cooked up in my head that I told myself. So I had a moment of just looking out that window and actually seeing that dark energy, like feeling it. It was there. And I wasn't scared at all. Like, I can't even, to really communicate the emotion of this story is hard to do, but I wasn't scared at all. In fact, I think I smiled. I think I like laughed to myself. And I was like, you can't touch me. Because I knew that my light was too bright. I knew that I had expanded, that I was unfuckwittable. These entities, these energies, they can't get to you when you have when you have this knowing of self-love. You can't be deceived. You can't be deceived. You can't deceive yourself, at least not for long. And it was just a really big kind of turning point, because so much happens on our journeys in our lives that we don't always remember those moments. And then we do have we'll have those moments sometimes where we know we'll never forget it. And I just remember looking out into the darkness, and because of the light, it being dark outside, I could kind of see a reflection of my face, and then I could see beyond that kind of like demonic energy. And I just was like, I'm no match for you. Like, I know you can't get to me. And I can't say that from that point on I haven't had any interaction with this darker energy, but every time I've had it, I've been able to spot it and see it right away. And during the masculine initiation, I do feel like Spirit tests you with this. So Spirit will send you people that might be part of that old pattern of you falling prey or victim to people that have bad intentions. So Spirit certainly sent me people during my masculine initiation where my gut would always be like, ooh, something's weird here, but they're really good, right? They're really cunning and they're really smart. So I would entertain it for a little bit, and oftentimes they were people that wanted a session, or they wanted to work with me, or someone coming back from the past and just being like, you were always so good to me, and I just, just really trying to hook in. They know what to say. They know how to stroke somebody's ego. They know how to pull at somebody's heartstrings. So those were always kind of the things. And then the further I got, and the more I was able to affirm that when I get that first initial gut reaction, it's always right to always trust it. It's 11:11 on my clock, by the way. Blessings. But in the beginning, I needed to kind of walk down that path a little bit just to make sure that I could trust my gut on it. But then a couple more instances happened that proved, no, I was right the first time, where the second somebody reaches out to me, I know whether I can fuck with them or not. I know whether I want to do a session with them or not. I know whether I want to engage with their energy at all or not. Spirit guides me that way. I know I'm supported and loved that way because I trust. But I do feel like there is a process of trial and error in the beginning where you're trying to figure out, like, okay, can I really trust that feeling? And you have to learn what your feeling is too. This is something I work with coaching clients a lot, is like, how do I know what's my intuition and how do I know what's my fear or my head? And we do this through like somatic exercises, because it's all in the body. The body is the wisdom. We have to learn to bypass the head. And so many of us have our head and thoughts that we think are our intuition. So many of us have learned to think that fear that comes up, or that little like sentence that you hear in your head that's like, oh, don't do this. We think that's our intuition. And so we have to start to learn to bypass that and to find out where our true intuition lies. And it's kind of different for everybody. Some people feel it in their chest. Some people feel it in their gut. Some people feel it in, or I should say, kind of feel it in, honestly, like an unexplainable sensation. So it's really different, and you know, you kind of have to do trial and error to figure out how does it show up for you? How does your intuition show up for you, so that you can rely on it and you can trust it? Okay, that was a wrap up. Let me just go to my notes to make sure that I said everything I wanted to say. Oh, well, this is really beautiful. So, I mean, this happens in the divine feminine initiation, but in the masculine initiation, there's also a huge heart space opening. There's a huge heart activation that occurs, because it's distorted masculine is a shut down, closed heart, walls to the heart. Never really trust anything if they feel too much. If their heart starts to kind of connect, it's like, whoop, stay away from that. Uh-oh, I'm not gonna have any power here. But the heart opening happens in that masculine initiation, because then you learn, because you trust your feminine. Your feminine is working with you. Your feminine is on your team. Spirit, the divine, is on your team. So now you can open your heart. You still have that King and Queen of Swords energy I was talking about. So it's not unsafe to walk around with your heart open, because think of it like this. You have a sturdy house and a sturdy foundation. Your heart open is that open door. You can have that door open. You can just walk around with that door open. And the second that you get that guidance of like, uh-oh, don't let this person in your house, just shut the door. That's all you have to do. There doesn't need to be any drama. Just shut the door. You're not going to get hurt. Just shut the door. This is a really fun analogy they've been giving me, so I'm enjoying it. Masculine initiation, a big thing, and I kind of already touched on it, but surrender is a big part of it, and we're learning the differentiation between surrendering to self-sabotage and surrendering to spirit. So it's kind of what I was saying, like when we bypass our intuition and think that our thoughts are our intuition, this is something that really has to be worked out in this masculine initiation. Some of us, I feel like it's more ingrained and a little bit harder, so the process can be longer than others. This wasn't something that I struggled with too much, and it might be because I am a divine feminine. So if you're a divine feminine, I feel like you kind of already were working with your intuition and you knew the difference. But I feel like if you are maybe a divine masculine, or you're in a male body in this world, that healing of your intuition and healing the self-sabotage versus the surrendering to spirit is probably something that you'll have to spend some time on. You got to transcend the logical mind. The mind is a tool, but most of us let it run free. So transcending the logic and the logical mind is a big piece of this. And I feel that this, like I said, is going to be more energy and attention needed if you identify more with the masculine polarity, because the masculine energy in our world definitely lives in the head and the logic, and they bypass the heart in order to do that, which is the intuition. Okay. But this is a concept I actually chatted about with a divine masculine. So when we were thinking about doing a course, and we were kind of like working, and we still might do that. So that could be in coming months, but, all in divine timing. Once we get the action from spirit, we'll move forward. But, this was something that was really kind of broken down from their experience, where they realized that they either surrendered to self-sabotage or they were surrendering to spirit, but they had to learn to know the difference. So that's a beautiful piece. And that's my cue with barking dogs. So I'm sending you guys a lot of love. Thank you so much for being here. The more that you like and share and engage and comment, the more I'm able to tune into your energy when I do tarot readings, so the more specific those messages will feel to you. But I am so, so grateful to all that join here, and it's such a pleasure being able to serve in this way. I'm sending you guys a lot of love, and I'll be back soon for a tarot reading next time, I'm sure. Bye.